Welcome to 30 Minutes with Workroom Tech. I'm Ceil Guglielmo, and along with Susan Woodcock, we'll be bringing you this workroom education podcast each month. We'll have links to Susan's blog posts, as well as accompanying videos to help you with your custom window treatment and soft furnishings education. 30 Minutes with Workroom Tech is sponsored by Workroom Tech, and you can learn all about their hands-on classes in Tryon, North Carolina by visiting workroomtech.com. Hey, Susan, how are you today?
Hi, Ceil. I'm doing well. It's a busy day here at Workroom Tech, but good to have a break to visit with you and spend some time recording the podcast.
I know I do. It's funny because sometimes we do this in the morning, and today we're recording in the afternoon, and it really did come at a good time. And my husband said to me, "Wait, I thought you said you were going to take a break." I said, "I did. I'm going to go talk to Susan and record." That is a break to me. So what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about Custom Workroom Conference.
Yay! I love talking about the conference.
So we're recording this on the day that the event brochure is published. So that is May 6th. And I'm just was so excited to get the brochure out that I can't really think about anything else. So I figured I'd be a good topic for the podcast because it's top of mind.
Agreed. You and I were just talking a little bit about some of the things that go on behind the scenes. And as I am fortunate enough to be an instructor this year and have been a few times in the past, I know there is so much that goes on behind the scenes. You have some help doing some of it, but it's a lot of work, and the brochure looks amazing. And I know one of the first things, because even as a teacher, I looked at it and went, oh, which classes am I going to take?
Well, at least one class session, you can't take a class.
Exactly. I know one section that's filled. I can't make any other choices for that one. But I'm wondering, is that one of the biggest concerns people have, is what class am I going to take?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest dilemma, is trying to decide which class. So our classes are set up with 4 sessions in the first day, and each session has 4 classes. So as you go through the class schedule, you only can pick one of the 4 from each class session. And we have classes for business, general interest, which would be something that upholsterers and drapery workrooms would be interested in, like zippers or trims or, pillows, things like that. And then we have window treatment specific courses and then upholstery specific courses. So one of those 4 is what, you have to sign up for. You have to pick one from each class session. And then we also have a class session on the last day. And it is hard. Some people sort of every year they'll focus on something new. Like this year, I'm going to focus on my business. So I'm going to just sign up for business classes. Or there'll be someone like an upholsterer to go, you know what, I'm interested in maybe learning more about window treatments. I'm going to focus on window treatments, maybe take one upholstery class or mix it up, and things like that. So it is fun to see when people start registering. Sometimes you'll just see like complete upholstery track or complete business track or complete window treatment track. And then some people are just a potpourri or like a charcuterie board.
Yes. Oh, I like that. So I love that people have almost a month to look over the brochure to decide. And every year when I've been signing up, I sort of take a look at the classes and say, what would be really fascinating for me to learn, or what do I not know enough about? And when I choose between the classes that are available at the same time, if I really have a pang of, oh, shoot, but I'm going to miss that one, then I sign up for the other one. But for the most part, it's like, what is the most unique? What have I never taken before, or what am I struggling with that I want to learn a little bit more about? And that for me has worked well over the years. So I might show up as the charcuterie board type.
Some people choose classes based on the instructors. And this year, like every year, we have industry rock stars, people that have taught for many years, Janelle Deck and Ann Johnson. and you and Robin Matthews and people that are familiar.
Mm.
And then we have new teachers too, and those might be people that you've seen on Instagram, or we have two teachers this year coming from the UK, so that's always an
Mm.
interesting perspective. And
Yes.
sometimes people choose, like if they're having a dilemma and they're not sure which class, they might choose it based on the teacher.
Right, right. And I love that you encourage new people every year, Susan, because some people are coming out as rock stars, as teachers. And I love that people don't hesitate to share what they've been learning on their own and making it more available to the rest of us.
Yeah, we every year it's my goal to have people teaching for the first time.
Mhm.
They might not be new to the workroom industry,
Right.
but they'll be the first time teaching with us. It's very important to grow the education
Yeah.
side of the workroom industry. And that doesn't mean that some of the people teaching are going to go back home and open a school. It's just sharing that knowledge and having this sense of togetherness,
Yeah.
like it's okay to share. It's not top secret what I'm doing here. And by sharing with others, you grow the industry. And the
Right.
more people we have teaching, the better. And it makes it much more interesting conference to every year have surprises of who's
Yes.
there.
Yes. And I love, I know Heather Taylor is teaching this year, and she just presented to our Pennsylvania, New Jersey chapter of WCAA, and her excitement and her enthusiasm. I mean, it was just, it was one of those meetings where I'm like, well, I don't really need to learn about that, but I haven't seen any of my friends in that chapter in a while. And I like Heather, and she's a great presenter. Well, oh my gosh, Susan, I learned so much from her. And again, her enthusiasm and I've talked a lot about how, for me, I just want to get things finished and it's not about the process. And for her, it is all about the process and experimenting. And I felt really inspired
Yeah, wow.
after listening to her. And I was thinking, maybe I will try some fabric manipulation. Maybe I will do that.
So some of our listeners might be wondering, well, how do you get to be a teacher at CWC? Every year at the beginning of the year, we put out, or at the end of the year, how do I phrase this?
After
After
the
after
conference.
we right after we finish one conference, then I take a couple months off, and then we have a call for instructors for the next year. So it's usually about December,
Right.
and you just apply.
Yeah.
You just apply, and sometimes you get selected.
Sometimes
Sometimes
you
you might
don't.
not.
Yeah, and as a teacher, I'm okay with that because sometimes that gives me a chance just to relax and enjoy. But we're talking about the classes and the teachers, but the reasons for going to CWC. I mean, so many of my guests on the other podcast didn't know they were a workroom until they heard about the Custom Workroom Conference. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said 40% of the people who were there last year were first-time attendees.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's there are plenty of people out there who are needing to reach out and meet people. It's always a chance to see people that I haven't seen in a while and who I interact with on social media but don't actually know. So I get to meet people in person. And that to me is, yes, it's tough to pick which classes because there are so many great ones, but that is just a piece of what CWC is, a very important piece,
Yeah.
but it's not the whole picture. And getting together the events that occur outside of the classroom, the vendor show, which I think you and Roger have been brilliant about that because I have been to conferences where there are classes going on while the vendor show is going on. And if somebody's not there when I get back, when I get out of class, that's always frustrating to me. And to have a whole day where there are no classes going on and you can take the time to get to know who the vendors are, what they're offering, and start to build a relationship with them that we need as small businesses. I think
Yeah.
that's so brilliant.
Thank you. The thing I love about the exhibitor marketplace is the energy.
Yes.
You can feel the excitement
Hmm.
and the positive vibe among the exhibitors and the attendees. And it's really exciting. It's really fun. Everybody's smiling and laughing and having a good time. And it goes by really fast.
It really does. I can speak from experience from both ends, either showing up just to be part of it and also being there as a vendor. And you're right. I have never set up my booth without some help from people on either side of me. I have met vendors who I didn't know. I've gotten to see people who I only get to see once a year. And some of them are sponsors for my other podcast. And that is a chance I get to be face to face with them. But I feel like it's the same spirit of sharing and education, even among the vendors who are there. And they're just as anxious to see, oh, who else is here that does what I do, and who else is here, and who else can I meet, and how can I connect with the people in the industry. And I think that, every time somebody says on the podcast, everybody shares, I think, well, is it possible other industries are like this? But I don't think they are. I really don't.
I hear that a lot too, that other trade shows and other industries are not like what we have with CWC. And
Yeah,
um, that's why we do it every year. We
yeah,
wouldn't keep doing it if it wasn't a positive experience for everybody. And the exhibitors want to be there. They want to meet people in person. Um,
yes,
and you know that as an exhibitor. And that is so important if you're attending to remember that.
yes,
There's lots of hardware companies for drapery hardware, but only certain ones have made the commitment to be there, right?
yes.
To meet you in person. And that says a lot about their customer service. And the same for the fabric companies and sewing machines and
And the
um,
mining companies, yes,
lines and everything else, and the upholstery tools and leather and everything that we have represented at CWC. Those companies, a lot of them are small businesses like we
I was
are.
just about to say that. And I know from my viewpoint from the Curtains and Soft Furnishings Resource Library, it's one of the few opportunities I have every year to talk to my members face to face.
Yeah.
We get together, during the year on Zoom, but it's not the same. And I also can show people in person what the library has to offer. And
Yeah.
that's an opportunity as a vendor. It's just mind blowing to me because it really is so nice to get to see people face to face, but also as an attendee to be able to walk up to um, Hanes or a pillow company or Crest Leather or Angels and say, let me feel the fabric. Let me see how big those pillows are. What does Bellanote blackout feel like? And also find out that, oh, you have a sample pack. Oh, I would love
Right.
all of those things. You just can't replace that in emails and Zoom
Yeah.
calls. You can't.
No, no, it's just seeing people, the company, the owners, so many of the companies that come to CWC, the owners of the company are there.
Hmm.
And they're not just sitting sales reps, although we have some of that too. But
Right.
I just find that to be so valuable. And for us as the producers of the conference to build those relationships with people over the years, it's really
Yeah.
special. Like a reunion in a way.
Exactly, exactly. And I have so looked forward to again being able to be in direct contact with people. Our workroom accountability and mentoring group will be there. They were there last year, so we all got to see each other in person. And again, that's the one time we get to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just really, I can't say enough about how worth it is to make the trip depending on where you live, whether it's a plane ride or a long drive or 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. It's worth it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned, traveling to there because every year it's somewhere different. This year, CWC will be in Kingsport, Tennessee. And that is on the eastern side of Tennessee where Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee all come together. So it's really, really close to Virginia. It's
Okay.
in fact it's border on, so Bristol, Virginia is across the line from Kingsport. So when people hear Tennessee that aren't familiar, they're like, "Oh, near Memphis." I'm like, "No, that's way far away."
Tennessee reminds me of Pennsylvania, but it's squashed because
Yes.
Tennessee is if not as wider than the state of Pennsylvania. And I can drive for 8 hours and still be in Pennsylvania. It's
Right.
that line. So
Right.
yeah. So all
So
of our Virginia friends better be there because they
yeah, that's right. But it is a great, I mean, it's a great location for Ohio.
Mhm.
Anyway, so it's a central location. And so at the end of last year, when we announced the location, I had so many people say, "Why Kingsport, Tennessee? Why are you doing it there? Why aren't you doing it, this place and this place? Why are you doing it there?" And so at the closing comments, I had to say, "Look, folks, trust me."
We did our homework.
Did our homework. This is a really ideal facility for our show and the people that attend our show and our attendees. So it has everything under one roof. All the hotel rooms have been refreshed. Everything's new. The conference center is gorgeous. The exhibit hall is big enough.
Mhm.
It's we want, like last year we had people out in the foyer area, and we have plenty of space, and they're just on top of things. It's a Marriott hotel, and it's just going to be great fun. They have a golf course. I don't golf, but if people are
Yeah.
coming with their spouse and they want to go and play golf, it's a really public course, and it's excellent. And there's lots of things to do locally if you want to come and spend extra days or come the weekend before or stay over on a weekend. There's lots of fun stuff to do in the area, and it'll be a gorgeous time of year.
Oh yeah.
December. Yeah, so come, it'll be fun.
Uh,
Promise you'll love it.
Susan, we've made this point before, but I feel like it bears repeating. One of the things that you and Roger and the people who help you put this together is on our name tags. It's where in the world we live.
Mhm.
And people have met up with each other who are a town apart
Yes,
and
all
didn't
the
know it.
time. Yep.
And this has been going on now since CWC started. From the very first CWC, there were people who were like, "Wait, you live where?" And many times in the podcast, I have people say, "And I was at CWC and I turned to my right and there's a person who lives the next town over." So
Yep.
it's we talk about it being a small industry. That's a relative word. It is
Mhm.
not a small industry. There are a lot of us, but some of us really are closer to help and friends and friendship than we realize sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, you have friends that you've made in the industry online,
Yes.
and you'll be sitting at a table and chatting and not realize that's my online friend right across the
Yes.
table from me.
Yes. I still remember I was walking in the hallway. It was the very first CWC, and I heard somebody mention Tammy's name, and I turned, I said, "I Facebook know you." That was it. We didn't have any other connection, but it was so great to see her in person.
That's great. Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago people that helped me. And there's two people that help us a great deal. And one of them is Roger, my husband. We produced this together, and um, he is their finance guy, and also logistics, right? So if we're going to get there and everything has to get there, he's going to make sure it's there. We have to pack a lot and usually have to drive a
Yes.
trailer. And Lori Medford is our sales manager and our event manager, so she's on site to make sure all the exhibitors are where they're supposed to be and helping them set up and helping them with sales and all that goes along with that. So I couldn't do it without them. And then for other little behind the scenes things, we have a copy editor, Joe Moore,
She's
who,
wonderful.
yeah, she does all of the teacher bios and class descriptions, which is a lot of writing.
And
And
we were saying before we started recording, she and I went back and forth several times, and I said I couldn't have done this without you because she really is a wordsmith and
yeah,
does a
and
beautiful job.
I kind of give her a word count. She can't go over, and you don't want them to be too short. You don't want one person's bio to be short and everybody else's to be longer. And then with the class descriptions, they have to kind of fit, and we want to have sort of a cohesive feeling to
Right.
the style of the writing and all. And she's been doing it every year since we started, so she's got it down pat, and I trust her, so that's off my plate. It's one thing I don't have to worry about. And she does a great job with that. At the conference each year, we have volunteers that help. We usually have 4 or 5 volunteers. And I sort of hand select those every year based on our location. I always
Mhm.
want to have at least one volunteer that is local
Okay.
in case I need somebody to run over to the venue, or we're at CWC and we need something like, can you run back to your workroom and get so and so? Or just familiar with the area.
Mhm.
And then I pick sometimes people that are new to the industry that I think would be a great way for them to connect with other
Yeah.
people. And then people that I've known for many, many years. Someone like Mary Dwan, who is a close friend, and we've both taught with Cheryl Strickland, and we both did Cheryl's shows, and we both taught with Margie Nance, and we did events with Margie. And so we've just been doing this for so long that I just know Mary's just jumps right in
Yeah.
and knows the routine. Also, I always try to have a couple people on hand that could sub teach in case there's an emergency.
Right. And
So
that has happened. That's
yes.
life happens, and sometimes our best intentions don't go the way we want them to.
And that's another reason why every year there will be teachers that are very familiar names in the industry that can switch over. I know I could call on Janelle or Ann Johnson or Robin Matthews and on,
Right.
just to fill in for a teacher that
Mhm.
happened to have an emergency. So there's a lot of things that we worry about. It doesn't happen very often. The worst thing that ever happened with CWC was COVID, and that
Right.
just shut us down. So that we'll never have that again, I hope.
I'm knocking on wood quickly. I will tell you, you do a great job of communicating with the vendors. You do a great job of communicating with the teachers. And we are sworn to secrecy before the brochure comes out. And I was at said WCAA event, and somebody said, I see you're going to be a teacher. What are you teaching? And I like stopped and went, like, oh, I can't say yet. I said, oh, I can't tell you. And I kind of got like a, really? Later, Robin Matthews kind of sidled up to me. She goes, can we tell each other what we're teaching? So we take our jobs as teachers very seriously, and we have a code of ethics to adhere to.
Well, sometimes things change, and I would hate for a teacher to announce a class and
Yeah,
then we change the title, or, there have been times when a teacher proposes something and I'm like, I really want you to teach that class, but I want it to be more this than that.
absolutely. Yeah,
Anyway, so things can change until the brochure comes out. So that's why we sort of keep it secret. And that's part of our promotions too. We have sort of a schedule of promotions. So we announce, where the show is going to be, and then we announce who the teachers are going to be, and then we announce what the classes are going to be. And now we have parties and things, and there's a lot to share.
yes, yes. And there's a lot of extra activities that go on that I just love.
Yeah, so this year, let me just recap some of the things we have going on because it's building. Our sponsorships, these companies are so excited to be part of CWC. So when you arrive, CWC starts on a Tuesday. So you'll arrive on a Monday night, Monday afternoon. And Trivantage is sponsoring our registration reception, which usually it's you pick up your name badge and we might have some, lemonade and tea and coffee or something like that. But they said, you know what, we want to do more than that.
Oh,
So this year, instead of a 4 to 6 p.m., we're doing 5 to 7 p.m. And there will be a bar and free drink tickets and
nice,
food and who knows what else.
nice.
So, and you'll pick up your name badge. You'll get a 3-ring binder, and all of our handouts are hole punched so that as you go to a class and get handouts, you add them to your binder. And that will be on Monday, and that's a great time to meet everybody.
Yes.
So if you're flying or driving, plan to get there by 5 p.m. And then on the next day, which is Tuesday, then the classes start, and we'll have coffee break during the class sessions. So you have a class that's 90 minutes, then you have a coffee break. The first coffee break is sponsored by Workroom Supply. And then the second class session, then you have lunch, and that's a buffet lunch. And this year we have a keynote speaker, Rihanna Lejeune, with Repend Luxury Upholstery out of Iowa. And she's going to talk about the apprenticeship program that she started, which
I'm
is
really excited to hear about
the
this.
only one in the United States.
Yeah.
So I think
It's
that'll be
so
very,
hard to get that together. So I'm really looking forward to that.
yeah. So Haynes Linings sponsors lunch, and we always have a very nice lunch,
Yes, we do.
hot sandwiches. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Haven't picked the menu yet, but I like food, so it's always going to be good food.
We are always well fed, Susan. There's no
Good.
question about it.
And then you have another class session and then another coffee break. And the afternoon coffee break on Tuesday is sponsored by B&B Hardware. And they're also a new exhibitor
Okay.
that we haven't had with us before. And then at the end of the day, we're going to have a bonus class. Never
Oh,
done that before, but Sam Sloan's going to do a bonus class on basic sewing machine maintenance.
ah,
And that will be come as you wish. So you don't have to register for that one. It's just going to be an open free for all. But Sam can handle it.
I was
So
going to say Sam operates well under those conditions. So that's great.
that'll be for 45 minutes. One of the classes in that last class session will have a machine in it. So I said, you know what, while the machine's here, let's do a little extra something there. And then that evening, if that wasn't enough, then we have the Helser Brothers sponsors party. And this year, their theme is rock and roll. All right, what is it? Hot rod. Rock and roll, hot rod party, because they sell
Okay.
delivery rods. So they have hot rods. So
Okay, that makes sense. I get that. And
rockabilly. It's like a rockabilly
okay.
50s hot rod. So
Okay.
Roger and I are already thinking about what we're going to wear. You don't have to wear a costume. And then some people didn't attend last year because it was Cirque du Soleil and they didn't want to have to dress up. I'm like, you don't have to dress up.
Okay. I
Okay.
thought I had the lamest costume of all. I actually just wore a silk blouse and put a Mardi Gras mask over my glasses.
Perfect.
It really was, and there's no way I could have even begun to compete with some of the amazing costumes that were there. I completely forgot how lame my costume was and had a great time.
Well,
Great
you don't have
time.
to wear a costume to
You
attend.
really, yeah, I don't excel at costumes, Susan. I agonize over them. And because I was really in and out quickly last year because of my daughter's wedding, I just decided I was not going to make the effort to do the costume. And I was like, I felt freed up. I was good. I was happy.
But if you do want to wear a costume,
By all means, do it because there were some fabulous ones there, including you and Roger last year.
did you know that workroom people can be a little competitive?
I noticed this. And if the Massachusetts girls are coming
And the Jersey girls.
and the Jersey girls, we're going to have quite a competition going on. So,
It'll be great. And the space where they're having the party is off separate from
okay.
everything else, you know, and it has a big pre-function area. It's just going to be amazing. And Helser Brothers, you know, they've already sent me the email. What can we get away with?
Oh, oh
I
now
don't
I really
know.
can't wait.
Propose it. You know, last year I was like, can we have a lady hanging upside down pouring champagne? I'm like, I don't know. I have to ask the hotel.
Yeah.
So
And we did.
so who knows what will happen, but that's open to all attendees and guests. So you can bring your friends and that'll be from 8 to 10 on the first day. And
Okay.
then the next day is the exhibit hall day. So that starts at 9 and goes to 5 p.m. And during the exhibit hall, we have the education station, which is going to be managed again by Janelle Dack with the Workroom channel. So
Awesome.
there'll be every half hour, there'll be some type of demo or mini seminar.
Mm.
And they're always really well attended and awesome information that you
Yeah.
can get in these short
Yeah.
focused seminars. And then there'll be concessions during the day there if you want to get lunch. And at 5:30, so the exhibit hall closes at 5. And new this year, we're doing an after marketplace mixer. And that's going to be for an hour starting at 5:30.
Okay.
And that is sponsored by Motor Parts for Shades. And one of the purposes of having the after marketplace mixer is to get everybody out of the exhibit hall and together for drawing our door prize, our grand door prize.
Okay.
Last year and the year before, we did it during the exhibit hall, and it sort of pulled everybody away from what they were doing, right? So everybody was like talking to an exhibitor, was like, oh, they're doing the door prize. I got to go.
Yeah.
So we don't want anybody to have to leave a conversation with an exhibitor. So we're not going to draw door prize until after.
Okay.
And you get free food and drinks. So, I mean, you get refreshments. So it's a no-brainer.
Prizes and refreshments. Who doesn't want to be there?
So we're going to do that at 5:30. So exhibit hall closes at 5. That gives you time to, and the exhibitors can come too. Ceil, you can leave your booth for a half hour.
Absolutely.
And go to the after marketplace mixer. And that's where we're going to draw the door prize for a free attendance to 2026 CWC. And that's where we will announce where CWC will be in 2026.
Okay. Okay. Oh, exciting.
I have to keep that a secret.
Yes, I know. And for those of you listening, she does not share that with me ahead of time. I learn when everybody learns.
Yeah, it's a hard secret to keep. When we go to look at venues, we do a site visit. It's like we have to travel in secret. Somebody sees us at the airport, we have to lie and say, well, we're going to visit grandma. I had a funny story when for Rhode Island, for the event that we did in Rhode Island, when I went for that site visit, I was at the hotel in the restaurant eating breakfast, and Sam Sloan called me from Sloan Machinery. And I saw his phone number. I was like, how does he know I'm here? And I answered the phone, and he just had a question. One of my students had called or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, good. Phew.
Sitting across the restaurant from me?
I mean, he's like, how did he know I was near him? So anyway, yeah,
That's so funny.
And then, so that's that day. And then the next day is the last day. And then we have classes. We have another coffee break, and that's sponsored by Workroom Tech. And then we have our goodbye message, take a group photo, and head home until next year.
Yeah. Susan, it's over with so quickly sometimes that it's really important for people to plan it out and make sure that they make the most of it. And even for the introverts among us who feel like that's a lot of activity in a short amount of time, it is. But it's one of the few chances that you get to be in the company of other people who get you and who do what you do. And as we've said before, the connections and the friendships that people make, mentoring relationships, friendships, accountability partners, someone to just call and say, I just ran out of buckram. Do you have any? It's just amazing what happens after these events. So I really think you have to plan to break through your introverted personality and try to make sure that you take advantage of all the opportunities that each of these events has. It is a lot, and you're exhausted when you're done. We even did a podcast a couple years ago on like getting back on your feet after a CWC, because especially I know you and Roger are exhausted. I know that I'm exhausted when it's over. So you need a little time to unwind, but it's worth every bit of energy you pour into it for sure.
Yeah, and that's another reason why we always look for venues that have a hotel attached, so that you can sneak back to your room, put your feet up, rest, have some quiet time.
Yeah.
And we certainly, take advantage of that.
So do I.
And Roger would say, I'm going to go back to the room. You cover this. And, and now Lori, she never gets a break. We just make her work.
No, she just works the whole time.
Lori. But it's we're really excited about this year. I'm just sitting here looking at the class selection. It's phenomenal. So we're going to open registration on
It
June
is.
2nd. And a lot of people
Okay.
often ask me, well, why don't you just open registration when you put out the brochure? And part of that is sometimes the brochure has errors in it.
Despite all of Joe's hard work.
Joe's work, Roger proofreads it, Lori proofreads it, and I proofread it, and we still find mistakes. So last night I was going in and editing a date that I had wrong. And also it just gives people time to plan. So
Yeah.
because if we just open registration, people would just choose classes really quick, and then they'd be going back and going, oh, can I change this class? Can I change this class? And that's a lot of extra work on our parts.
Mhm.
We want people to make good decisions, start planning, like traveling with friends,
Yeah.
maybe carpooling or setting up flights so you can arrive together, share cars. There is a shuttle from the airport, the Tri-Cities Airport, that's nearby. That's a very reasonably priced. And so we'll open registration on the 2nd of June. Be ready to register and enjoy the brochure. It has a lot of good information in it and ads from some fantastic companies that are exhibiting with us.
Mhm.
You can print out the class schedule so you can just like have it sitting on your desk and you can look at it every day and change your mind 100 times before you register.
Because in fact you will.
Because I'd like to sit in every class too.
Yeah. That has to be hard for you because you're running the show. So
Yeah,
but you are teaching.
I am teaching this
That's
year.
exciting. You're doing it. So it must have gone well last year because you're doing it again this year.
Yeah, but this year I'm teaching with Carrie Sandlin, so
Nice.
we can split it up. So
Awesome.
yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited. We have some great ideas, great plans. Can't wait to
Oh,
share.
good.
Gonna be great.
Susan, I'm so looking forward to it this year in particular because I can relax and enjoy it a little bit more than I did last year. I definitely felt like I missed out on some of it because I was not there for the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a good reason, but still, I had major FOMO, but also had to protect my energy and what I had going on afterwards. But um, I'm just so excited and looking forward to it this year and knowing that it's going to be beautiful time of the year. And I think it's so important for us, especially because so many of us work alone a good deal of the time. This is a really important time to connect with other people and make new friends and connect with people who we only get to see once a year at
Yeah.
the conference.
The best the best part of the whole conference is at lunch when everybody's together and I can look out across the audience and see everybody seated together and know that all of those people handcraft products in their business. And that is so rare. You
Yeah,
just don't, where else in the world do you have 250 people that all handcraft product
yeah,
for the design industry together? That solidarity and that shared talent and knowledge and everything, it just gives me goosebumps.
yeah.
Just it's so important.
And take such pride in what they do that they take the time and they invest their time and their money to be more educated and more professional. And I know you're honored by all the people who show up for this, but to look around and see that is just, it really is amazing. And to know that none of us really are alone because we've got so many of us together at these events. So,
Those skills are valuable.
mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
So
very
I
impressive.
hope to see you there. And I know
Oh,
I'll see you there. You better be
yes, you
there.
absolutely will see me there. I cannot wait.
But to our listeners, I hope to see you there.
I have a widget on my iPad that shows me I can do a countdown, and I have a countdown till the number of days for CWC. So
Wow.
I don't see it as soon as I open up my iPad, I have to like swipe to the left. It's kind of like a dating app. I have to swipe left. It also reminds me when I have to get things done for my class. So it's
Okay, well, yeah, you do have deadlines.
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So the website is customworkroomconference.com, and you can go there and look at the event brochure and make your plans. And there, the discounted rate for the room block, it can be found in the brochure. So you have to go to the brochure to get that.
Okay.
All
Susan,
right.
it's always fun to talk about it, and I will put a link to the Custom Workroom Conference in the show notes in case anybody wants a direct link.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
All right, bye.
Bye. Susan and I are both looking forward to seeing everyone at the Custom Workroom Conference this September. For more information about the conference, go to customworkroomconference.com. There will be a link in the show notes to the website, and we hope to see you there. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great day.